Every minute you don't tell us why you're here, I cut off a finger.
Mine or yours?
Yours.
Damn.
A chat with you and somehow death loses its sting.
I'm a land farmer, motherfucker!
Did you hear that?
Yeah, it's a dick fur.
What's a dick for?
To pee with.
This is my sister. You can all have her. I hear she's very good.
Shut up and never say anything again as long as you live.
What do you say we cut the chit-chat a-hole?
Thank you, Doc. You ever serve time?
I never thought anybody could forget so much so fast without a severe blow to the head.
Moon River. I'm a land farmer, motherfucker!
All right. Stop right there, and I'll bring back the sun.
Tell him, McCluskey! Tell him what time it is!
Once it was reluctantly aroused. It was hard to get it aroused, and it is hard to get it aroused, but we got it aroused.
Oh no. Oh no. He doesn't get to just walk in like that. No. Not on my watch. You don't just get to enter the room with this intro. Hi everybody, how you doing? Good to see you. Glad to have you today. I just got done with the Queer as Folk reunion live stream, the Gay Day, May Day, Play Day thing that Scott put together. It was lovely. It was nice to see Sharon Gless and Jack Weatherall and everybody else, and it was just a great time. So some of you dropped in and said hi, and I greatly appreciate it. They're doing an auction to raise money for LGBT centers all over the country. The current auction goes through Monday. Monday, they're going to have new items that Sharon and Michelle donated during today's live feed. No time like the present. Yeah, let me just, I gotta say, let me just roll back a split second on that video, just as we had the president trying to entre nous on me in there. But we will join this. This is, so today there was no task force briefing. I guess the new press secretary, Kayleigh McKinnon, had her first, I don't know if I call it a press conference. I mean, we'll go over it. And then the president met with the CEO of Gilead, Daniel O'Day. Oh, Danny boy, the pipes are calling. And so we'll go through this. It won't be a particularly long show today. I've been streaming since 11 with the Queer as Folk thing today, and I appreciate you guys who dropped by. Like the new press secretary, just like hot off the Fox presses. I mean, honestly, could we find someone more angry to be asked normal questions? I doubt it. And I'm chilling on a beach today because I feel like we all, after the weech we've had. Oh, Turd Ferguson, that's good. Somebody trying to live off of the comedy of Norm Macdonald. All right, good try. I'm certain that he would appreciate your support and lack of creativity. And thanks for being with us and helping to drive my numbers up. So these are there's a couple of primary things today. We're gonna I do have a kind of a Gilligan thing going on. It's nice, if he'd managed to escape or kill and consume the other members of the island, as Alex Jones would promise. So, that kind of thing. Egads. Yeah, we do need some relaxation. You just got to kind of, chill into these things. Just kind of breathe into this. It's fun. Okay, so let me let me bring up the first bit of this. Now, this is absolutely still part of Trump's. We're going to see if he manages to do it, but he's trying to mispronounce scourge in every room in the White House, and I think he's got like 3 left. My guess is that he's doing it in his own bedroom all the time, but I don't think that, these are all just the public rooms, I think. I think he's going to, just to button it all up, he's going to need to, like, take a tour and, conduct tours, for everybody and say it as they walk along. Is this whole area part of a scourge area? See, I can't even not pronounce it right. Yeah. This is absolutely what's happening. So, all right, so let's see this. By the way, this is a quote presidential recognition ceremony, and so what he's doing is this is day 3 of the human shields. So what Trump is doing is he's bringing out people who've done nice things or hard work to help deal with the COVID-19 pandemic. And, do nice things for the community, or people who are working overtime. And then basically by standing next to them, hi, Amy Wright, and I got the CD finally, by the way. So by doing that, he can hide behind them so any failure is not his. He's just the leader of a bunch of, any failure is theirs, and anytime you criticize his failures, you're criticizing the people who worked extra hard. So this is why he brings out generals and stands behind them. It's why he brings out, community leaders and business leaders and individuals and stuff. And so he just basically uses them as human shields for his campaign. He's giving awards to people. By the way, the people who've done this work, I'm sure they got vetted and found some people who are Trump supporters / did something nice. I have no problem with them. This problem isn't with them. This is about him using them to cover his own ass, because that's all this is about. Watch. This is a good time.
Thank you, Doc.
Thank
You ever serve time?
It's a great honor to have you all.
To have us all? What?
To read about your stories. In some cases, I knew your story without having to read about it.
Really? What? Because they were friends of yours and donors? Is that what we're hearing? By the way, is this loud enough for everybody? I hope so.
Staten Island. So thank you all very much. Great honor to have you. This afternoon, we're going to
this afternoon is recognizing.
Recognize several individuals who have responded to the invisible enemy with courage, determination, and grace. Terrific people. In recent weeks, our nation has endured extraordinary hardships and loss, and we mourn with one heart for every life that's been taken from us.
Yeah, you can tell.
In the midst of so much pain, the heroes we honor.
Can you not say that without looking down? How is this hard? How is this part hard?
They are a true source of inspiration for us all. You really are a very great inspiration for us all, and the whole country is watching. With us
No, the ratings have really gone down on these kind of things, quite frankly.
today is Kyle West from Cincinnati, Ohio. Kyle is 23 years old, and he's proud to be a mailman in his hometown. I know Cincinnati very well. I actually worked in Cincinnati, and it was the Queen City. I had a great experience. Many of the people.
You worked in Cincinnati. What kind of work? Development?
This route are older Americans in a low-income area, and as Kyle says of his job, we're not just mailmen, we're mechanics, movers, and many other things. We're part of the neighborhood. That's true, isn't it, huh, for a mailman?
Are you now he's pretending to like the mail service. I'm quite a bit louder than Trump. Okay, good to know. Thank you. That's probably just true in life.
Kyle talks to roughly 500 of his customers each day, bringing a cheerful smile and a listening ear to every parcel of mail.
Yeah, he's a mailman. He's a decent guy. I have no doubt about that.
When the pandemic hit, Kyle delivered a note to hundreds of older Americans.
When the pandemic hit, can you, I know you're not going to use the punctuation. Can you please not run the consonants together?
On his route, it said, if you are at risk and need help getting essential items, let me know. I will do what I can to help. That means you get it done, right? That's what he means.
Huh? No. He gets the mail job done, yes. But on top of that, he's offering to take care of some of his more affected patrons, clients, whatever you want to call them, people on his route who are suffering or cut off from people, and he knows this because he delivers their mail, that they may not have someone to go get their groceries for them, they may not have somebody to go get them anything, and they may not have the ability, either through they don't use a cell phone or they don't have any of that stuff, that they're not able to use things like Instacart and all this stuff because they're in a low-income area. So he's offering an extra service on top of being their postman. He's a good and decent fellow. You don't know what he's doing.
Sincerely, Mailman Kyle. Since then, Kyle has received more than 400 responses, and he's delivered
just 400 responses. He's drunk. He's drunk today.
Vital groceries to dozens of senior citizens. Kyle, your love for your neighbors lifts us. And
thank you, Rebecca.
Entire nation, would you come up and say a few words, please? Thank you, Kyle. It's terrific. I'll move that down for you. Thank you. Thank you.
Yep, no problem with Kyle, by the way. Bless Kyle. I'm going to skip what he's saying because I'm here to make jokes, and there's nothing, good work, Kyle. I hope I see you in Cincinnati one day. I really do. But this, yeah.
Thank you. Great job. Thank you very much, Kyle. Also with us are Libby Bish and Raphael Mello, and they're real estate agents in Northern Virginia. Great business, really.
Thank you, Jill. How are you? It was good to see you at the QAF event, too. I appreciate you being there. It was nice.
When one of their clients told them that his restaurant had been hit hard, Libby and Raphael decided they wanted to do something to help. They began raising money to buy food from restaurants to donate to local hospitals. Within a few weeks, they have raised over $6,000, made 18 deliveries, and fed over 500 healthcare workers. And Libby and Raphael, please, I'd like to thank you and acknowledge you by having you step forward and say a few words. Please, please, please.
First of all, very nice of them. Glad to hear it. Lovely. I call BS.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Not what they're doing on him caring about it. Literally, the man's a billionaire, and the Trump organization has done none of this. Like, literally, Don Jr. could scrape his toenails and have $6,000 under it. They're doing nothing. Not donating hotel rooms, not paying their staff to do work in the community. Nothing. Not a thing. Nothing. Let's hop ahead.
Tall guy. Hey, right? Next. So how tall are you? 6'8". 6'8". That's a good height.
Really? Are there bad heights? I hope not. I'm a full foot shorter than that dude. Does that mean
I have a son that looks like he's going to be right around that number. Barron, right? He's going to.
Is that what his Barron, right? That's his name, right? You know him, right? Is that his name? Thank you, Darren.
Yep, there. That's really good. Thank you very much, and thank you, Libby, very much.
Thank you for being tall, and thank you, short person.
Today we also honor T.J. Kim, a high school sophomore from McLean, Virginia. TJ hopes to serve as a pilot in the United States Navy. At just 16-year-old, 16, boy, that's a great age.
16 years old. Right.
TJ is already taking flight classes to get his pilot's license. When he heard that hospitals needed more personal protective equipment, he launched his own mission, Operation SOS, which stands for Supplies Over the Skies. He worked with his school, church, and
Good man, good kid, glad to hear it. World needs more pilots. He's awesome.
community to collect medical supplies.
Meanwhile, Trump comes up with Project Fighting Eagle.
Help of the flight instructor, who probably was a very good person. What do you think? Pretty good? Good flight instructor, too? Knows how to fly, right? Pretty good. You better take your lessons from somebody that knows how to fly.
That's such good advice, isn't it? Isn't it? Most people would just pick anybody cheap out of the phone book for flight lessons. What? You gotta bet he's good at flying. Your flight guy is a fly. I bet he could fly. Can he fly? Did you pick someone who's good at flying for the flying? Oh my God.
But who also joins us today, and TJ has flown and delivered more than 10,000 pieces of personal protective equipment. That's a lot of work. That's a lot of flying, too. That's great. And there can be no better preparation for flying the military planes, right? I think there can be nothing better.
What, no better than flying a military plane? He's flying cargo. It's oh my God. He's not gonna, Jesus. He's not flying through return enemy fire while he's like,
But you're going to...
What is he talking about? No better, military. Like, I saw Top Gun and he started delivering PPE. Like, dude, have some. I know they told him try to have a moment with these people. That's what this is. You're seeing the awkward budding of a human being trying to squeeze its way out of the wasted ground that this man has made of his soul.
4 rural hospitals in Virginia. So, TJ, come on up and say a few words, please. Great honor.
Good on you, TJ. By the way, everybody, get your pilot's license. As soon as I can, again, I'm going to finish mine.
Thank you.
Don't touch it, TJ. Oh.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Oh, TJ, you touched it. Now you got to go get a second test. By the way, good on you, TJ.
I'm humbled to be here today. My name is TJ Kim. I make you this promise instead. As long as there's a need, and as long as I can find the PPEs and fly them to rural hospitals, I'm going to do it. I promise to continue to rise and be of service to my camp.
Look at, isn't it nice? These people are doing nice things, and I'm pretending to care. Look at me.
This, my community, my commonwealth, and my country. Thank you.
Good on you, kid.
Always right there, in the back.
Who's your instructor? Can you fly a good flyer, fly planes?
Wait, how about standing up?
Stand up. You're the guy who flies it, flies it?
A great student.
Do you do the plane flying? Is that what do? Honk, honk. Huh? Do you fly the... Good camera work today, by the way. I think it's great. I'm glad we're finally recognizing the great work that this guy's doing as a flight instructor.
That's great. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Fantastic story.
Next.
So, a man that I know because I spent a lot of time and spend in a place called Staten Island, right?
Right? Yeah.
It's true, Frank. You know that. Frank Siller from Staten Island, New York. Really special place. I spent many an hour, many a day with my father there over the years. And
Many an hour with my father. That's just sad.
it's just great. Nearly 2 decades ago, Frank founded an organization called Tunnel to Towers to support the loved ones of the fallen first responders and service members. He began this mission to honor the legacy of his younger brother, firefighter Stephen Siller, and So Stephen's looking down right now, and he says, my brother's in the White House doing a real job. He's very proud of you. I know how hard you work. Coming from New York, I guess especially, Frank, I know how hard you work, and you've done a fantastic job. We appreciate it very much. But he was one of the immortal heroes who gave his life on September 11th, 2001.
You can't remember that part? You can't just say that part. For God's sake, man, there's 4 people here. Glance at it before you come in the room.
As the virus began to spread in New York earlier this year, Frank leapt into action. He helped raise money to deliver more than 1 million pieces of personal protective equipment. That's a lot. For hospitals in the city, Frank and his army of volunteers have delivered food to firehouses and phone stations and police stations and all sorts of places all across New York and New Jersey. Frank also raised over...
Slow down. Say the words like they actually have some meaning. I don't know why I'm giving this asshole notes, but this is embarrassing. You just talked about somebody who died during 9/11 like they were any other sentence in this paragraph.
$5 million to help pay the mortgages of families' homes at 25 first responders. I guess it's a total of 25. So you have a lot of people that are very thankful, Frank. I've heard a lot about it. First responders and healthcare.
He just read this.
Workers who have tragically lost their lives in the fight against the virus. It's a vicious, vicious enemy. Frank, I want to thank you for continuing to support our nation's heroes. And again, your family and your brother is very proud of you, looking down and
look at him. Look at the guy. Say the words to the... Just, why is it not like thank the guy for his loss in service in one sentence and then just look at the guy and say that? What is this perfunctory bullshit? It's embarrassing. That poor guy lost a family member, decides to... It motivates him to do something with his time and take care of people. He's doing something great. And you can't even just have 2 notes about he lost his brother, this is the brother's name, this is who he is, this is what he did, and then just speak?
Please come up and say a few words, Frank, please. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President, for inviting me here today and to honor and let people know the work that Tunnel to Towers Foundation is doing. My siblings and I, we started the foundation in honor of my brother, a New York City firefighter, on September 11, 2001, strapped 60 pounds of gear on his back and ran through the Brooklyn Battery Tunnel, which is almost 2 miles long, and I know you know that. It's almost 2 miles long.
He just said long tunnel.
And he come out and ran up West Street, went into the South Tower, up those stairs, and while saving people's lives, he gave up his own. And since then, we've been honoring our military and first responders ever since. We built specially adapted smart homes for our country's most catastrophically injured service members. We deliver mortgage-free homes for Gold Star families and fallen first responder families who die in the line of duty, who leave young families behind. And Mr. President, when you said that we are at war with an invisible enemy, we couldn't have been more proud to know that we're doing our job and what we're supposed to be doing as a local foundation, as a national foundation, to make sure that we take care of the frontline healthcare workers.
Good on you. I don't have a problem with what this guy's saying either. He deserves the recognition he's getting. The problem I have is with the president basically hiding behind these folks. So...
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
That's Frank. Beautiful.
And what's even more wonderful is that I'm good enough to notice you.
In this hour of need, the world has once again witnessed the unbeatable strength of the United States of America.
That you can always tell when he underlines something.
All across our land, heroes have raced into action. Doctors and nurses are enduring sleepless nights to save every possible life. Farmers, truck drivers, and grocers are working to keep our shelves stocked and our people fed. Families are helping.
Underlined people.
Neighbors in need, and entire communities are rallying to.
Dude, you slow down. Act like you give a shit for 1 second.
Together to defeat the plague, this ugly, horrible plague.
Jesus.
The 5 Americans we recognize today are the first of a number of individuals we will honor in the coming weeks. We're going to be honoring a lot of great people.
Yeah, because you think this gives you cover.
Our nation has just completed the
Scourge.
30 days to
Terrible scourge.
slow the spread, during which every American was asked to make sacrifices to help defeat the virus. Not long ago,
And we are.
models predicted that between 1.5 million and 2.2 million people would have died in the United States without the mitigation.
Yeah, if you did nothing. Not an option. Stop pretending it is, asshole.
Through our aggressive response and the remarkable commitment and bravery of American people, we have saved thousands and thousands of lives.
No, you don't get points for comparing doing anything, doing the bare minimum yourself while everybody else locks themselves down. You don't get to compare if we had just never done anything. Secondly, we had 15 cases 2 months ago. We now have 64,000 dead. We're going to have 70,000 by the end of this weekend dead. You don't get points for that being the number.
Even make that, if you want, hundreds of thousands of lives. People were thinking in terms of 1.5 million lives.
Asshole, it's still happening. We had 15 cases. We now have 64,000 dead. We now have 1 million cases, and you want to open shit up again to where it was. What do you think the death toll is going to be? If 15 led to 64,000 dead, what will 1 million lead to?
Lost to 2.2 without the mitigation, and hopefully we're going to come in below that 100,000 lives lost, which is...
Hopefully we're going to come in below that 100,000.
A horrible number, nevertheless. It's a horrible thing. Could have been stopped. It should have been stopped at the source.
He thinks if he keeps it below... This is what it is. He thinks if he keeps it below 100,000, he gets reelected.
But it wasn't. But it's a tribute to this country and the people of our country, what they've
Yes, we stayed indoors.
been able to do.
Meanwhile, by the way, he's going to Camp David this weekend. There will not be pictures of the Gulf.
And the amount of lives that have been saved.
There will be golf. There will be no pictures.
Because we flattened the curve, slowed the spread, and massively expanded our healthcare capacity, we're now in the process of gradually reopening our country. And it's being done with a tremendous
Spirit.
Gusto and vigor.
Gusto and vigor. Is it tangy? Is there zest? That's what I want to know. Is it zesty? Is it a zesty opening?
We see that all the time, don't we, Frank? They want to
What? Gusto?
get out there and they want to get
There's gusto all over the place.
back. That's what they want. They want their country back, and they're getting it back. And we're getting it back safely, and we're getting it back quickly.
No. Those two things are mutually exclusive, dummy.
It's a strategy guided
It's a embarrassment.
by science, evidence, facts, and reason. Never-ending lockdown.
Yes, there's Retsin. There's it's gusto with Retsin.
Inflict colossal damage on the health and lifespans of our people. Public health is closely tied to economic health. No state or country can long ignore the facts and the truth. And we're just very proud of the fact that people have put up with so much in order to keep the numbers down to the level that it looks like will be.
Wait a minute. What? No state could ignore what factor truth?
Public health is closely tied to economic health. No state or country can long ignore the facts and the truth.
You've been ignoring the facts and the truth. You think people have got to be sacrificed so we can get our country open again.
And we're just very proud of the fact that people have put up with so much in order
This is one of those sentences they snuck into his speech to lock him into
to
saying
keep
it.
the numbers down
Just write it in there. He won't look. He'll say it.
to the level that it looks
This is the Ron Burgundy presidency. If Ron Burgundy was a genuinely bad person.
like we'll be having our finished number.
Oh, God. Nice phlegm gurgle, dude.
Should be something, think of it. We could save anywhere from 1 million to even 1.5 million. And I guess if you think about it, we could save 2.1, 2.5 million lives, depending on
if we didn't do anything? No, no, that's never the marker. That is never the marker. There is no one whammy.
What happens, and with this invisible enemy, as we said, nobody knows what really happens, but we've learned a lot in the last...
Have you? Have you learned a lot? He's learned a lot. Do you speak French now? No.
2 months. Throughout our...
I learned chemistry, and now I'm a super genius with biology and...
history. It's America's love
and history. I learned all about history. Like...
strength, not its fears and doubts that have paved the way and paved the road to victory. Together we'll emerge from this chapter.
Pave the way and the road.
Chapter of hardship and all of those deaths of such great souls and such great people with new unity and resolve.
Yeah.
Our people will thrive, our industries will roar, our innovators will astonish, and America will triumph.
Like never before. Look at the passion and the verve and the, what's the word I'm looking for? Gusto. If only there was a way to take this speech.
Once it was reluctantly aroused. It was hard to get it aroused, and it is hard to get it aroused, but we got it aroused. Never before. And that's what I feel, like never before. We built the greatest economy in the history of the world.
Glory days. Young days, glory days.
Greatest employment numbers, greatest stock market, greatest number of jobs.
You're here to award other people. This is a short gathering, the purpose of which is to give awards to people who went above and beyond things. People in that room have done things that your rich kids would not think of doing with their spare time.
Any way you want it, greatest industries, greatest creations.
It's not about you, it's about them. Just say thank you to the people here and say the American people are continuing to try very hard to help their fellow man, and it's beautiful and inspiring, and we'll see you later. And then say this bullshit someplace else.
And one day we had to close it down. They said, sir, we're going to have to close it down.
Because of a scourge.
And we did that, and everybody suffered, but they did an incredible job.
Yeah, we did.
And because of that, we've saved...
because the American people stayed home, we've saved,
maybe millions of lives.
But no, you don't get credit for the million part, because that's if you don't do anything. Nobody's doing nothing.
And I just want to thank everybody. This is a scourge all around the world. 100.
Oh my God, he did it! He did it! He did it! He said scourge in every room, and he's doing it. What has he got? 3 rooms left? I called it. I called it. That's it. Okay. Damn it. This is ridiculous. At some point, how in the world, Jesus Christ, this is, I can't. All right, let me go back to my streaming thing. That was, he did it. I called it. He said scourge in the, oh God.
82 countries as of a week ago, so it's probably...
It was 184.
Probably higher.
What 2 countries don't have it anymore?
182 countries are going through relatively the same thing, and it's a...
Relatively. No, it's not quite relative. They don't have anywhere near the deaths we have, or the case numbers.
Sad. It's a very sad chapter. There was no reason for this. He should have been...
I'm sorry. There need not be a reason for that. There was no... Are you saying we kind of deserved 9/11 in 2008? Is that what you're saying? America deserved those things? They deserved... There was a reason behind Pearl Harbor. Would that have made it better? It's how you react to it, dumbass.
Stopped at the source. But I'd like to congratulate these incredible 5 Americans, and I'd like to ask them to come forward and receive their award and their recognition.
Please give them like a pendant or something. Don't give them a key. I don't know what the fuck the keys were for.
And they deserve it, and we'll be watching you throughout your life. You may be around a little bit longer than me, Mr. Mailman. But I'll be watching you as long as I can. I'm watching all of you, and I want to thank you very much. And
I'm watching all of you. What a weird
to my
thing to say.
hometown man, thank you very much. Thank you for
To my hometown man, I say thank you very much. Your kids aren't doing anything close to what he's doing. You lied about going to Ground Zero. You lied about people dancing in the streets in Jersey, and he's your hometown man.
Please.
Kyle West.
Click. Good on you, Kyle. Sorry it had to be that dude. It's a timing thing. You deserve it, though.
Let's get a shot. You want to do it? Okay, good.
Did he call up the flight instructor? Did he ask the flight instructor to come up and you're like, no, that's not the kid I'm here with?
Why don't you come up together? Fellas, you could all come up here if you'd like. I think it would be maybe just as good.
No, it wouldn't be just as good. Let them get their own photo. What are you talking about?
Libby Bish.
Yeah, get the tall guy in front. I'm gonna go with that dude's 6'8". He's more than 6 inches taller than Trump. Just saying. Congratulations on being so tall.
Raphael Mello.
Good on you, Raphael. Glad I'm happy these guys.
Thank you very much. You deserve that. Thank you.
Look at this. What is this? Yeah, dude is 6'8". Trump says he's 6'3". There you go. I love holding up folders with my stuff with my signature. This dude's a fan, so he's touching the thing. Thank you, Mr. President. I love you.
We won't let that happen.
She gets her own, and that somehow shocked him.
Thank you, Libby. So that was great, and you represent a very important part of this country, and we appreciate it very much.
What part?
Thank you very much. Go have a good day. Bye. Thank you.
Go have a good day. Bye. Thank you. See ya. Thanks. Go have a good day. Well, that's over. Man. Oh, look. It's her. It's her, everybody. It's her. I'm so excited. This is her first big try. I'm not gonna do the whole thing. I can't stand it. It's just ridiculous. I mean, most of it's just. But let's jump in midway.
People realistically expect that there will be
Oh wait, let me back up to the question.
Thanks so much, Haley. Welcome. Since it's been more than 100 days since the press secretary stood up there, I wanted to get a better sense of what your plan is. Are you planning to do these on a daily basis at this point?
No.
Also, will you pledge never to lie to us from that podium?
I will never lie to you. You have my...
Oh, joy. So I got to clip that one.
word on that. As to the timing of the briefings, we do plan to do them. I will announce timing of that forthcoming, but we do plan to continue these. John?
Welcome to the podium. A question for you on Project Warp Speed. Can you...
Project Warp Speed, like Project Fighting Eagle.
Give us some more details. The president said...
Project Warp Speed. Good God. Got my fellow to watch. Hi, Chris. How are you? Bonjour, ça va bien? Hi, Norm Fox.
He's...
was good dance music. I appreciate that. That was a lot of
But
fun.
will there be a day-to-day point person on this? What's the budget for this project, and when can the American people realistically expect that there will be a vaccine available to everybody?
Well, there is a day-to-day point person, and that's the President of the United States, President.
Okay, we're doomed. We're dead. That's it. Pack it up, folks. The day-to-day point person on the creation and dissemination of a vaccine. Wow, that's loud. Holy smokes. Woo, that was a loud one. That was good. That was solid dance music. Good Lord.
Trump. And with regard to vaccines, I would note the words of Dr. Fauci, which are these: going into a phase 1 trial within 3 months of getting the sequence is unquestionable. The world indoor record. Nothing has ever gone this fast. So what the president is doing, and under the president's leadership, we're in phase 1 faster than ever before, according to Dr. Fauci, and that should encourage.
Yeah, because we haven't been in a pandemic since 1918. Everything should go faster than normal. Yeah. So, and what's the last big one that we can come close to? AIDS? What's the record on AIDS? 22 years?
The American people.
In the budget, and then there's really no other point person? I mean, I know the president ultimately, I guess...
No, there isn't. Because it's a bullshit setup. There's nothing.
The president, but he hasn't put somebody on the staff.
I'm not going to get into any details as to exactly
Because there aren't any. There is no Project Warp Speed.
how that works, but just rest assured, we're on an accelerated.
Oh, I rest assured. Everybody, just take a nap, everybody. Let's just rest. I will rest assured.
Pace to a vaccine, at least for this phase 1 portion of clinical trial.
The quickest pace ever for the phase 1 of a clinical trial. That's not the satisfaction of the phase 1. That's the beginning of a phase 1. At which point, you have no idea. If you're just letting anything go to trial faster than anything else, it doesn't mean that that drug is closer to being found effective or not harmful any faster than any other drug. The speed of the trial is the speed of the trial. This is stupid.
Thanks. The Fed yesterday took an action that appeared designed.
Thank you, Michelle.
To allow oil companies to access their lending facilities. So I'm wondering if the president has spoken to Chairman Powell about this, if he's happy about the move, and if the White House is considering any additional assistance to the oil companies.
So I won't get into the president's personal discussions, but I would just note that the president is always looking out for the nearly 11 million American workers in the oil industry. I would also note that we're filling the Strategic Petroleum Reserve right now, and we'll buy 75 million barrels. So that's the only announcements I have on the oil front today.
We'll buy them now that the oil price is back up. Where were we when it was free and they were paying people just to move it?
Halu.
Thank you, Kaylee.
I'm great at making deals. That's why when oil was not only free, but they paid us to take it, I said, no, thank you. I waited to buy it at $23 a barrel to benefit my friends in the oil industry.
The president tweeted this morning about the protests in Michigan. He essentially said that the governor of Michigan should work with the protesters. He called them very good people and said that they are very angry. Some of those protests, I'm sure you saw, included, heavily armed protesters, members of militia groups. I wonder if the president was speaking about
AKA people who don't actually give a shit about the COVID-19 lockdown. They just hate government tyranny, so much so that they can't wait to shoot their fellow citizens or any cops or soldiers that try to get them to act like normal people.
those specific members who
You are the Nazis now.
stormed the Capitol in Michigan when he talked about very good people.
Look, the president was referencing generally that in this country you have a First Amendment right to protest. I think that's something we all treasure.
Yeah, that's why. Yeah, he's all for things like the Women's March.
Here, and we should, rightfully. You have a right to do that constitutionally, but you must protest within the bounds of the law. He encourages everyone to protest lawfully, and also to engage in our social distancing guidelines, which we think all Americans should engage in.
Do you have any response to just the imagery of...
No, because if he was out here, he would go, I think they should, you like to rub elbows. We're going to have, look, my goal is we have sports stadiums that don't have any empty seats between people, that people sit right next to each other, that all of them are armed and have their oldest daughter on their lap at all times.
You know, people with long guns essentially storming the Capitol, going into face-offs with police officers and intimidating in some ways some of the lawmakers.
Again, the president says, that we must protest lawfully and act within the bounds of the law. Yes.
Thank you for being here. When the president says we did a spectacular job, but when Jared Kushner talks about a great success story, some Americans see it as a lack of empathy. Do you understand their reaction?
Where's my page on empathy?
Look, Jared Kushner has, first of all, done a great job for this administration. And what
At what? Is there, I may become an anti-vaxxer for about 6 months after the completion of Project Warp Speed. Yeah, you might want to wait until they test it on some folks.
say to that is that when he talked about a success story, he was talking.
Thank you, Rob.
About the
And
story of this
thank you, Andy.
administration, which is a story of mobilization for the American people, the greatest mobilization of American industry since World War II.
Yeah, and Jared's job has been to get between states and that industry when they work out a deal and buy their own shit and steal it off the pallets.
Of course, we grieve for every American life that has been lost, but we want the American people to be confident in the response of this administration, and that is
why
what he was referring to. The fact that in the average year, the healthcare industry uses 25 million N95 masks, and we have delivered in this short time 75 million N95 masks, more than 3 times what the healthcare sector uses in a year. That's extraordinary. It's extraordinary.
Yeah, not when a state actually purchased, 6 times their normal use just as a state on their own, when 3 states have done that?
That some in the media were saying that we needed 1 million ventilators, and this president we haven't.
No one ever did. Anybody wait? The largest number of ventilators I've ever heard is 40 to 60,000 for New York at the beginning of this. That they were concerned that they would need that many. Has anybody ever heard anything like 1 million ventilators?
Short of that so far, not a single American has died for lack of a ventilator. And the fact.
No, they haven't died for a lack of a ventilator. But how many have died because they shared a ventilator with someone who had a higher dose of the virus than they did? You want to do that kind of math?
But this president can look the American people in the eye and
no, he can't. It makes them throw up.
Say, I am producing 100,000 ventilators this year alongside the private sector. 100,000 ventilators. That's 3 times.
How many tests has he got?
We produce in the average year.
Yeah, 80% of the people who have the disease are either asymptomatic or mild symptoms. 20% require hospitalization. In that 20%, 5% will die. Everybody else in that will either be scarred for life or have a significant amount of time on a ventilator or ill. That 20% window, that's the part where you deal with ventilators. That's the maximum amount, the 20% who require hospitalization. You know who needs tests? That 20% plus the other 80%. And if you just have PCR tests, that other 80% that isn't sick and hasn't gone through the process and developed antibodies, those folks will need another test tomorrow or the day after or next Monday or whenever a breakout happens near them.
I'd consider that a great success on behalf of the American people.
I guess it's more about the tone than the policy itself.
Oh, don't ask about tone. She'll make up something about tone. Who cares? Like, honest to God.
We want to give the American people confidence that they have
good luck.
Federal government that is doing everything in our power to provide the necessary equipment to combat this invisible enemy.
As long as the states are nice to us.
We grieve for the American lives. We've said that repeatedly. I will echo that today. My heart breaks for those. I pray regularly for those who are affected by the coronavirus. But we're going to give confidence to.
Yeah, he didn't ask about you. He asked the president's lack of empathy.
American people that you have a federal government under President Donald Trump that's going to step up and give the greatest mobilization of the private sector since World War II.
Yeah, thank you so much, Kaylee. Thanks for being here. President Trump mentioned the situation in Brazil a few times this week. Besides talks of cutting off flights from Brazil, are there talks of, in terms of sending assistance to Brazil, sending PPE or ventilators to Brazil? And is President Trump planning to talk with President Bolsonaro?
Well, the president has mentioned that he has sent ventilators around the world. Any excess supply, we certainly look to help other countries. But, you know, in terms of a specific announcement regarding Brazil, I don't.
No. I mean, this is what all the answers are going to be. I'm skipping ahead.
The bottom line is the president said point blank that Flynn lied to the FBI and to the vice president. And I'm just asking a very direct question. Does he still believe that Michael Flynn lied to the FBI and lied to the vice president?
And again, I'd point you to the vice president's statement that he's inclined to believe that Flynn did not intentionally mislead him. And I'm asking back that all of you in your coverage endeavor to report what is a very scary story when the FBI is saying, let us get someone to lie. I've seen very scant coverage of that. It's a story worth reporting.
Very scant coverage. Why isn't everyone covering the notes of a second party who wasn't directly involved in getting the process through, and ultimately realizing that they recognized that Mike Flynn was a threat to national security, that the president was never going to throw him under the bus or get rid of him, no matter what crimes he committed. So if they could outwardly get him to lie so he would lose his clearance, then he would get himself fired for that reason, because, you know, for the good of the country.
In a story that I hope the American people, if you haven't heard it yet, are getting to hear for the very first time.
We've heard it. We know it's bullshit.
Thank you, live still.
Thank you, Secretary McEnany. Going back to the
She's got a good ignoring stare.
South China Sea.
I'm not hearing you. I'm looking over here. I'm looking over here. I don't hear anything. My ears follow my eyes. They burn. My eyes, they burn.
We had an issue come up this morning where you had the USS Barry crossing international maritime waters, and then this is in the South China Sea, and Chinese officials are saying that this will be a dead-end endeavor. Has the president spoken with any side on the Chinese as far as what the United States is going to continue doing? Is the U.S. Navy going to just ignore these threats and keep...
Look, I don't have a problem with this. Don't listen to her. The Chinese people are good. She is a personal friend of mine.
Keep going through these international waters. What are your responses to China's increasing aggression in the South China Sea again?
Yeah, I have no
Well, there's no information. Tell them there's no information.
news to report as to the president's conversations.
Yeah, don't reply to. I didn't have a conversation. Say that.
And for the specifics of that, I would redirect you to the NSC.
Yeah, good call. Good one. She's good at this.
Yeah.
Thanks. In the same podcast interview, the president said that Democrats would, quote, have to give us a lot for aid to...
Yeah, they're going to have to be nice to me, or I will hang up on them, and their people will starve and die.
To states. I'm wondering if you have
I can't do that for long. It makes me sick.
Of what specifically the White House or the president is asking for, and secondly, what you'd say to somebody like Governor Cuomo, who says, you know, the president's already told me, you know, a few weeks ago that he would support this type of assistance, and why are we bailing out, you know, airlines or defense contractors, but not the states that pay teachers or first responders?
Well, first, you brought up Governor Cuomo, so I just thought it's a good time to remind everyone that Governor Cuomo has praised the president's response in this COVID-19 crisis, saying that what the president has achieved is a phenomenal accomplishment, and we thank Governor.
Yeah, in a stack of saying the American people are phenomenal, the first responders are phenomenal, everybody's been doing their part and their best part. He was in a pile of humans, not set aside on his own, but go ahead.
Cuomo, for those very kind words. But on that note, with regard to funding to states, Phase 4 is something that we want to start negotiating on immediately and get to work on. The president has said, look, I will certainly look to consider helping states who have coronavirus reasons for the financial situation they find themselves in, but he doesn't want...
Don't tell them that. That's not true. I didn't say that. Basically, the places I want to help are places that have my properties in them. Like I like the Democratic governor of New Jersey. I have a golf course there. That's the kind of help I was talking about. Pretty. Has anyone ever told you look like Ivanka?
This to be an excuse for decades and decades of bad Democrat governance that have run some of...
Yeah, how stupid have you been as Democratic governors to pay more in taxes than you get back from the federal government? Why aren't you smart like Kentucky, who gives, for every dollar they give in federal taxes, they get $1.70 back? Art of the deal.
He states into a financial predicament. So he has mentioned that in terms of the types of things he wants to see in this phase 4. I don't want to get ahead of the negotiations, but I do.
Don't get ahead of my negotiations. I'm in the middle of a deal. I can walk away at any time.
Want to emphasize that he has mentioned sanctuary cities. This is a
Yeah, any state with a sanctuary state gets no money. But if they stop paying federal taxes, they don't get federal aid, then they don't have to pay federal taxes, right? That's in the Constitution. So if they don't do that, then Tennessee doesn't get any. Oh, boo!
really important issue that has cost American lives. Last year, our brave ICE officers arrested more than 120,000 criminal aliens charged with nearly 10,000 burglaries, 5,000 sexual assaults, 45,000 violent assaults, 2,000 murders, and in the
And a partridge got beat up by MS-13.
last year, egregiously 5,000.
By the way, don't anybody go back and compare those arrests of criminal aliens from during the Obama administration or Bush or Clinton, because you'll find that they're actually lower in some ways, because I just rounded people up and a lot of people, they water down my numbers.
And human trafficking episodes. So American lives matter.
I love that episode of Breaking Bad.
Our brave Iceman.
I'm kidding. I don't watch whole shows. I get bored halfway through and say, who's that person again? And somebody has to tell me that they've been there for a long time.
Women matter, and it's something that he's mentioned he'd like to see in a phase 4.
I mean, you raised that, and the president's been kind of vague about this. Are you explicitly conditioning state aid on states or cities?
Careful. Say yes while saying no. Do it. You can do it.
It's not saying that they would have sanctuary city policies.
No, I'm not. No, not conditioning anything, but saying that is a negotiation item that the president will certainly bring up.
I will certainly bring it up at the next possible opportunity.
Thanks very much. So the president has in the past denied any of the allegations from the many women who have accused him of sexual misconduct. But per that podcast today, he seemed to suggest the allegations that Tara Reid has raised are more, what did he say, credible than the ones against Brett Kavanaugh. What about the allegations that were raised against him, however? Why should the public, or what makes them...
Give her the how dare you look. I like it. That's it. That's it. That's it. Give her the how dare you. You monster. That one. That's a good look.
Any less credible than the allegations from Tara Reid?
The president has swiftly denied all of these allegations that were raised 4 years ago. He has always told the truth on these issues.
Oh, that little eye close right at the end of that statement's very telling.
He's denied them immediately, and you're bringing up issues, like I said, from 4 years ago that were asked and answered, and the American people...
No, they just decided they hated Hillary Clinton more than they worried about him. They're changing their minds.
Had their say in the matter when they elected President Trump as president of the United States, but, you know, the media...
I'm a dude playing a dude disguised as another dude.
President and turn it on the president and bring up accusations from 4 years ago that were asked and answered in the form of the vote of the American people.
Oh, so once I win the vote, every crime I've ever committed is gone. Forever. You're welcome.
Just come back, Haley.
Tell him, McCluskey. Tell him what time it is.
John's question, because Kellyanne Conway spoke to this the other day and suggested...
Oh, don't bring up Kellyanne in front of her. She's like Kellyanne 3.0. Like she's like fresh off the shelf. And yeah, Kellyanne Conway looks like her if you left her out in the sun for a long time.
That two things could be true at the same time. We now have the vice president saying it's his belief that General Flynn may have unintentionally misled him. That's now 3 years after the fact. But the two things that could have been true at the same time were...
Wait, no. Two things cannot be true at the same time. What's true is what I say is true. Everything else is fake news. That's you.
Flynn lied to the vice president and also lied to the FBI. If you remove the FBI piece of that...
Excuse
me. The president still had fired Michael Flynn for his belief that he lied at that point to the vice president.
I mean, I'm not.
No. Lying. Look, you know how they say in politics you should turn your weakness into a strength? Mike Flynn's a great liar.
Engage in a hypothetical, and that's essentially what that would be. But what I would say is echo yet again that this was a grave miscarriage of justice. I am very glad that the FBI thought to keep a paper trail, because what many have said for a very long time, pointing to the first few facts I shared with you, culminating in that handwritten note, I'm glad they kept such good documentation of the.
Oh, me too. Because it's terrible that they recognized he was a criminal threat, and they were planning on trying to get him out when they knew that a criminal enterprise was going to keep him in office. It would have been so tough.
Intent to slow walk General Flynn into a trap and to essentially create, as I mentioned, a grave miscarriage of justice. So FBI, at least we can thank you for the great note taking.
Yeah.
Let me follow up on that, though. John does bring up the point that General Flynn pleaded guilty to lying to the FBI.
Yeah, because he was tricked into look, he was in the massage parlor close to Mar-a-Lago just for a thing. And, oh, wait, that's my other friend. He was dealing with the Ukrainian president that is now under the protection of Putin, and he was paid a bunch of money. They got a bunch of protesters. Oh, no, that was another friend of mine. He was carrying secret messages underground to Russia during the. Oh, that was another friend of mine. Damn it. Which one's Flynn again? What was his crimes? I'm having such a hard time keeping track.
Going to get involved in what was a matter of
justice.
It's. Do you not consider it a miscarriage of justice when you have the FBI writing, "We want to get someone to lie"?
Well, they know he's going to lie, so they. What chapter of Art of the Deal is this?
Is that a miscarriage of justice?
But
no, because if you lie, oh no, yes, it's a miscarriage of justice. Say that. That's good.
The end, he pleaded guilty, and then that's.
You hesitated because you know what the answer is.
You hesitated when she asked you about the sexual assault. This looks bad.
The answer is
That's up
yes.
to a lot of other people to
and I would
decide.
encourage the media to cover it, because I've watched a lot of your networks.
Fake news.
I've read a lot of your papers. I've seen a whole lot of scant information about Michael Flynn.
Scantily clad information.
When there was a whole lot of speculation about Russia, culminating in $40 million of taxpayer
Marcia.
money being lost, and the complete and total exoneration of President Trump. Thank you guys.
He was impeached. Where are you
so
going?
much. I'm going to cut this short now and go see my little 5-month-old here in a few hours. And let me just say this. The president at 5 p.m. leaves today for Camp David. It's going to be working weekend. He'll be talking with heads of states, with elected officials. We have a great event coming up this afternoon. And, of course, everyone should watch the Fox News Town Hall with the president from 7 to 9 p.m. It'll be can't miss television, much like.
Oh, God. That's on right now? What a horror show.
Highly rated President Trump coronavirus task force briefings have been. Thank you.
Highly rated. Wow. So that's what we can expect. That's going to be the next round. Now, I wanted to show you before I let you guys go for the weekend. It's 5:30, and I've been at it for a while. The president met the head of Gilead today, and brought him in. And the fawning from the vice president was lovely.
So good afternoon. I have an announcement for you
Hold on.
on hospital funding as appropriate.
Shut her up.
You know-
Hold on. Here you go.
What that is, because he's been in the news and the company's been in the news, and it's a great American company that's done incredible work on HIV and hepatitis C. And I hear that that's what's happening with hepatitis is a great medical story, really a great medical story. I've been hearing about that. It's fantastic, Dan. I'm pleased to announce that Gilead now has an EUA from the FDA for remdesivir. And you know what that is, because that's been the hot thing also in the papers and in the media for the last little while.
Yeah, they suspected that it would be more effective than hydroxychloroquine, and they were talking about those at the exact same time. But for some reason, And it might be that a friend of yours runs the company that produces hydroxychloroquine that you just kind of buzzed right by.
Important treatment for hospitals.
Yeah, remdesivir was showing signs of, let's see, what country was that in? South Korea, of all places. But they haven't done nearly as well as we have.
Coronavirus patients. And it's something.
And it's pronounced remdesivir. Sorry, I did it wrong. Hold on, wait. Don't rush me. Don't rush me. Remdesivir.
I spoke with Dr. Khan and Dr.
Dr. who? You mean Dr. Han?
Fauci. I spoke with Deborah about it, and it's really a very promising.
We're about it to Dr. Fauci, but Deborah.
Situation. We've been doing work with the teams at the FDA, NIH, and Gilead for spearheading this public-private partnership to make this happen very quickly. So today we're going to be, and I'm going to let Dan do it, but we're going to let Dan make a statement as to what the company is doing.
He's going to tell us all about remdesivir, and then everyone's going to go, I'm going to lay down on the floor and they're going to pour 29 million doses of hydroxychloroquine into my mouth that I bought sight unseen.
Making a contribution to really people that are not doing well, people that are sick, people that have this horrible plague that's set into our country.
Please say scourge.
And that we're getting rid of, and we're going to be having some really incredible results. We have very promising studies coming out on the vaccines. We have promising studies coming out on therapeutics. And the first one is from Dan and Gilead.
Tell me about your promising studies, big boy.
And I'd like to maybe have you say a few words, if you would, Dan, as to number one about remdesivir to start off with, and also the contribution being made by your company, and we very much appreciate it.
Sure. Thank you very much, Mr.
Thank you for not.
Thank you for having us here.
Thank you for buying 29 million doses of remdesivir.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President, for the collaboration that we've had. Let me start by saying, on behalf of, I know, all the colleagues at Gilead, we want to thank all the collaborators that have brought remdesivir to this point. And that certainly includes NIH,
the South Koreans,
Dr. Fauci, and
the French,
and certainly Commissioner Han, and many.
O'Hara's treachery has disgraced us. And now, for the record, sir, Mr. Gilead, what is your name? Dan Gilead? Dan Gilead, the president called him Dr. Khan. He will now be referred to as Dr. Khan from this point on. Can't correct it. And don't you dare say scourge.
Many more people that have been a part of this to bring this to where we are today. And in fact, really the thanks go to the patients and the caregivers that participated in these clinical trials. I also want to say I'm privileged to work with a group of amazing scientists at Gilead that for decades have been working on antivirals.
Hey, who brought up remdesivir, the story about that 2 weeks ago? Who in this picture, besides Dan, who was not over here, of the 4 people in this shot, which one was talking about the story about remdesivir weeks ago? Which one?
We're poised to put remdesivir immediately into clinical trials when we saw the COVID-19 circulating. So I'm really proud of the colleagues back at Gilead. What I'd like to say is that
Trump say, yeah, okay, all right. But that's basically remdesivir, that's just hydroxychloroquine, but the cherry flavor, right?
On behalf of Gilead, to the President's point, we feel a tremendous responsibility. We're humbled by this being an important first step for patients, for hospitalized patients. We want to make sure nothing gets in the way of these patients getting the medicine. So we made a decision to donate about 1.5 million vials of remdesivir. We'll be working with the government to determine how best to...
You're getting a free clinical trial out of it.
To distribute...
If this is effective against coronaviruses of this makeup, that's what remdesivir is for, ultimately in this category. It's an RA drug too. It's against arthritis and immune suppression. It basically stops the cytokine storm. If they can use that for people who get extreme flus or immuno overreaction that kills them when they get any other coronavirus, this will be very helpful. And they get to,
within the United States.
Remdesivir is French for hydroxychloroquine.
We'll be working very close.
Excuse me, John, it's pronounced, hold on. It's pronounced remdesivir. Okay.
To get that to patients, working with FEMA, working with other parts of the government to make sure that we get that to the patients in need as quickly as possible, because there are patients out there that can benefit from this medicine today.
Night, Amy. Rest well.
That are hospitalized, and we don't want any time to waste for that. And we're also fully committed to continuing to expand the supply of this medicine. We started investing in this back in January as soon as we became aware of the coronavirus. This is a long time to manufacture. It used to be 12 months. It's now 6 months. Our scientists have brought that down. And so as we get into the second half of this year, we're able...
Yeah, it's way better than back in 1872. We used to have to whittle each pill by itself.
...to have many more supplies available to patients. And we're fully committed to working, Mr. President, with you, your administration, to make sure that patients in need can get this important new medicine.
Dan, I really appreciate it, but I also...
Oh, wait. I've also heard great things about hydroxychloroquine. You don't have any of that laying around. Do you need any hydroxychloroquine to make remdesivir? Because I know somebody who's got 29 million useless doses.
Notice the incredible job you've done with HIV, which I remember so well 15 years ago, 16 years ago.
I remember so well. Let's all pine for the days. I'm good. No, thank you.
It was a horrible thing. I lived in New York.
I lived in New York. It was my Vietnam.
I lost a lot of friends that through HIV was...
Roy Cohn, you mean? You want to tell the story about Roy Cohn? What Roy Cohn said on his deathbed when he was dying of AIDS? Anybody?
Terrible. And also hepatitis C. Could you give us just a quick moment on how successful that's been? Because I've seen...
And why there was a mystic from the Dark Crystal waddling through the shot there for a second?
Things that are pretty incredible and a lot of people don't know.
Thank you, Cosmic Rose, for that. And you're absolutely right. PayPal.me/AlSparks is a great way to show me that you support the show.
Absolutely.
And becoming a patron. Thank you. To our patrons, thank you. It's the first of the month, and I bless you. Thank you.
Of Ambassador Birx and all of her work in this field as well. We've worked, the colleagues at Gilead have collaborated for years, both in the developed and the developing world on HIV. I mean, it's really astonishing. This is one of the reasons why when I joined Gilead a while ago, the reason I joined is because of this progress. So you remember, of course, yes, back when HIV was a death sentence. And now, thanks to the scientists at Gilead and elsewhere, we've turned this into a really chronic disease and also a preventable disease. And I want to give special thanks to the administration for the work on the HIV prevention and PrEP program that we're working now, and many
yes, Hallie is a lesbian, this is true.
Particularly disadvantaged parts of our country to get more patients on prevention.
I'm fluid, I have options. I'm just saying there's a lot, I don't know. I've been thinking about a lot of things lately. It's just difficult, Thank you, Christina F. I appreciate that. I mean, I don't just roll out of bed looking like this. It takes work, and I appreciate you guys supporting that work. I don't want to go all Kardashian on you, but without you guys, I'm nothing. So there, I said it. I feel better for having said it. So, yeah.
To stop and to end this epidemic is a combination of treatment and prevention. And in hepatitis C, I'm really happy to say that the scientists came up with a cure some years ago. We've made tremendous progress, and including some really creative new arrangements in the United States, like with the state of Louisiana, where we've looked at ways to look at programs to make sure that every patient in a state is able to get the opportunity to be cured. So I'm very proud that we have this.
Did you used to just sequester? We don't like that neighborhood. Did you used to just go, there are certain people here who should die of it, and you would just do it like poor people? Did you make it expensive so it's kind of like holding like when people would hold a basketball up out of, like with the short kids, you'd hold it up there.
of science, but also that we put this science in a way that gets access to patients.
And with hepatitis C, it's an actual cure. It's
Yeah,
more than
this is
just
actually a cure.
keeping it down. It's an actual cure.
12-week oral therapy cure. I mean, we're still working on the HIV
Oral therapy. He stopped to try and not make an oral therapy joke. It just happened.
cure. We haven't given up. It's a much more difficult.
Thank you, Slick Chick. Thank you so
problem.
much.
We'll probably get to long-acting medicines first.
Is that a more
We're
complex problem?
much more complex than this is now. I'm really embarrassed to talk about this in front of Ambassador Burke. She should talk about this, but it's a complex to get the virus completely suppressed.
And where would you put corona in that level of complexity?
Well, I think it's early days on coronavirus. I think this is the first step today, and I think what we'll see, and it may be like,
We're going to watch Trump get bad news in real time. This is amazing.
with other viruses that we've seen, that with this base step, with an antiviral like remdesivir, that the way to actually even get better results is to add medicines on top of an antiviral. That was really how we were able to get HIV to a chronic illness by combination therapies. So this is the beginning. There's a lot of great companies out there that are working on this.
What if you had a really strong flu vaccine and you put boxing gloves on it and drew a picture of it where it put its head on Rocky's body? Would that work?
We're collaborating with my colleagues in the industry, and we're all working together to do everything we can with COVID.
Well, it's very exciting, and just so you know, Sudan's making it a company a very major contribution towards helping people. So we very much appreciate that. I mean, I'm talking about a monetary contribution as well as, more importantly, what you're doing scientifically. So we appreciate it very much. Doctor, would you say a few words? The FDA has been moving things along at a level that they've never done before, and I appreciate it, Dr. Hahn.
O'Hara's treachery has disgraced us. Now he's back to being Dr. Hahn. He's no longer Dr. Khan. That's
Thank
good.
you, Mr. President. Really appreciate it. So as the President just announced, we authorized Gilead's application for emergency use authorization for the use of remdesivir in hospitalized patients. That was issued today. Thank you very much, and congratulations, Mr. O'Day, for the great work from the company and the collaboration that we've had. I also want to thank the more than 18,000 employees at FDA who have heeded the President's call to reduce regulatory burden and red tape and move things forward. I think I said the other day this was lightning speed in terms of getting something approved, and from clinical trial to getting it authorized from the FDA, it's been quite the speedy but also effective process.
Why are you still here? Why aren't you already flying to see me? Yes, yes, you must come to Camp David. It's got a 3-hole course, just like Mike Pence.
This is an important clinical advance that showed a statistically significant reduction in time to recovery for patients with COVID-19 and is the first authorized therapy.
Boring. Would you use a 3-wood on me or a 9-iron? How far can you go?
COVID-19, so we're really proud to be part of it. Mr. President, thank you for your leadership.
Well, thank you. And you know, Dr. Hahn left one of the most important
O'Hara's treachery has disgraced us.
jobs in medicine, as you know, to take the FDA, and we're glad he did.
We're grateful.
And a very important job and a tremendous
He's done great work eliminating all the things that used to keep people from being killed by this process because we kind of don't give a shit.
reputation. But to take this job,
We're in such a rush to get the economy back that it doesn't really matter.
and you're doing great, so we're really proud of you. Thank you
sir.
very much. Deborah, please.
I'll just be very brief. I think this really illustrates what can happen in such a short time. I mean,
We're going straight up Den Mother today, and I think it's a very tastefully matched scarf. It's under the collar this time. That's a new move. Is that an inside the Oval Office versus outside the Oval? Like everybody in that room's had a test because it's the dude from Gilead, so they know that he's got to say scourge. We're waiting for. He said it. By the way, though, he actually has. I did not see the Patricia one. I did not. I'm sorry. I will scroll back. I had to turn off the stream marker because I will turn it back on so I don't miss any more. But it was just really loud for some reason. Like I can never keep track. So I'm very sorry, Patricia, for missing that one. Thank you, Patricia. Thank you.
case that was diagnosed
I think I was in mid, like, turning myself into Hallie for a second, so.
in the United States to now
Crocodiles. Thank you. Was it a crocodile sticker? Thank you.
first step forward with a therapeutic
I wish I had a crocodile mask that I could put on.
in less than 90 days. For those of us who've worked in viral diseases and pandemics for a long time, this is our
That sounds like fun.
first really positive step forward. It's our first step forward. Obviously, groups are still working on vaccines. I just want to also thank the company for not only making sure this got into clinical trial, but for individuals who didn't qualify for the clinical trial, they made compassionate use drug available from the very beginning.
Qualify what? You mean based on price? You're getting free test subjects.
Our request and around the world. And I think that combination of really strong scientific, rigorous clinical trials, but also when you don't really have something to make compassionate use available was also really quite extraordinary. So again, also thank you for the patients, because obviously this was a randomized trial. There was a group that did not get
Why are you trying to kill me?
That's why the Data Safety Monitoring Board stopped the trial.
I am coronavirus. I only want to be your friend. Why are you trying to kill me? Huh? All you want to do, you den mother lady, want to murder. You want to kill me. I just want to mutate 35,000 times in about 24 months and turn into one of the gut bacteria that lives in your belly. But you won't let me. You want to murder me just to get your stupid economy back.
Because of this statistical difference, because you can't keep placebos on a trial when you already have shown significance.
Don't say placebo. Don't say placebo. It gives me hope. Sorry.
In the treatment arm. And so to the patients who were willing to be randomized and to the doctors who did the trials and the nurses who took care of them, we're really very grateful, because this clinical research is critical for these breakthroughs. But obviously there's someone getting the agent and there's others that aren't. And so that's really been extraordinary.
Thank you very much, Shabrin. You know, while we're here and we have the media, I'd like to just maybe have
Oh no.
Alex discuss it for a second. We will be AIDS-free as a country, and I used to say 2 years ago, 10 years, and now we're down to 8 years, and maybe even sooner than that, working with Gilead and other companies and working with the great people that we're dealing with medically in our country. And maybe you could say something about that, Alex, because when nobody
Yeah, that had nothing to do with you.
knows you could even do that, but we're looking to be AIDS-free within the United States within 8 years. We started it. Frankly, it could have been started in the previous
When are you going to be syphilis-free? That's what we want to know.
administration, and they decided not to, and I decided to do it. So please, Alex.
Well, again, it's a bit embarrassing to be talking about HIV/AIDS standing next to Dr. Birx, so she can correct me as we go. But really, thanks to President Trump's leadership.
Yikes. Dude, you have to, context. Like, we all know she worked on HIV/AIDS and was one of the, so was Fauci. Okay. Thank you, Robin.
The tools were there. The tools were there to end the HIV epidemic in the United States, but it was the president's call in the State of the Union address that brought everyone together, including this great company Gilead and the United States government, all of our partners, to actually end the HIV epidemic. And the tools are...
What? Everybody's been working nonstop on this since 1984. Look at Trump. Even he knows this is bullshit. It was only, nobody thought of eliminating AIDS until Trump showed up. Are you kidding me? Was that what was going through his mind when he was cheating on his wife who had just had their child that was 5 months old with a porn star? Was that part of the strategy to make us AIDS-free by now?
That you need to diagnose individuals. So part of that is getting people that are in underserved areas. We particularly have African American males in southern rural communities. We have Native Americans. We have many underserved who are not getting diagnosed. If we can get you diagnosed, we can get you on therapy if you are positive for the disease. And if you're on therapy and your viral load is undetectable, you are untransmissible. You can't give that virus to somebody else if you stay on therapy. And our amazing Ryan...
Right, that's not new. That's just a continuation of the outreach.
White program has an incredible over 80% success rate at getting people who are positive to be undetectable by being compliant with.
Stop acting like you invented shit that's been going on for 30 years. Good God.
Drugs. And then if you're
The president had I had a great idea. Maybe we should like get people motivated to get a cure. We should like have an AIDS walk. We should start that. Why don't we start doing that? I'm jumping ahead because this is garbage.
Small money compared to what we're talking about. And everything's a lot of money, but this is small money compared to what we're talking about. And I'm somebody from New York who lost a lot of friends to AIDS. A tremendous number of friends. Some of the most talented people that I knew I lost to AIDS. And
Who? Name one. You're going to say Roy Cohn. Who else?
It's incredible. Do you have anything to add to?
Yeah, don't breeze by that. You lost a bunch of friends who were super talented people. Who?
Because you are. I mean,
you can't.
The real expert on AIDS and the eradication. Anything to add about eradication in our country?
Well, we just appreciate the government's support on doing both domestic work and global work on HIV/AIDS, because obviously you also are invested in the PEPFAR program to really bring the same level of compassion.
That's look at Han. The moment she said it, you're invested. You invested in the PEPFAR program, so that means that you cured AIDS during your presidency. Yeah, you're the last guy on the assembly line, and therefore you are the assembly line.
Treatment to people around the globe to really control the epidemic around the globe, and this is a big step forward for all of us to really.
And what do you think of the timing? Am I right when I say about 8 years?
Well, we're always, to actually control the pandemic, to make it controllable and smaller, that's absolutely possible. To eradicate it, obviously we need a vaccine or a cure. There are groups working on that under your direction to really ensure.
How is that coming?
We make forward progress in vaccines and then a little step backwards and then forward progress. It's tough work, and the cure is tough work, but your scientists are working on it around the clock. And
Why are you questioning the 10 to 8 year? They gave you the 8-year number. Why are you going, you sure you can't get it down to 6 just because I'm here making the deal? Maybe, what if I see you, what do we say, 7.5? How do you feel about that? If I throw in, you can stay at one of my hotels at retail.
Good. That'll be terrific. Mike, please.
Well, thank you, Mr. President. I just appreciate the opportunity.
To be downwind of you.
Express the gratitude that we all feel. Dan, to you and the incredible team at Gilead. And to think of...
I thought you were going to thank me. He thought he was going to thank him. He normally goes straight to him. Look at Trump. Look at this.
The progress that you've...
Yeah, go ahead, do that. I was very sure I was all ready to...
made in such an extraordinary period of time.
Why are you thanking Dan in the Oval Office? I mean, hello.
When the president brought the...
I just gave a bunch of awards to like 4 people. Didn't you see the pictures
Pharmaceutical
where I look like a cardboard cutout?
Companies here to the White House, you were among them. He said we wanted you to move out quickly on developing a vaccine, but he said develop the therapeutics as quickly as you can. We were told that it was possible that by the spring we would have therapeutics, and standing here on May the 1st, the very first therapeutic with the emergency use authorization, the good work of FDA is now available. And
that's, yeah. It was already working in South Korea. They knew about this. This is 3 weeks behind the curve.
Donating 1.5 million doses. Our task force will be working very closely with Gilead.
1.5 million doses? Chicken shit money. The president bought 29 million doses of hydroxychloroquine and dumped it on the VA. This asshole's gonna roll in here with 1.5 million doses. Get out of here.
To make sure that those medicines, starting on Monday, are distributed to hospitals where patients are struggling in serious conditions with the coronavirus today. And so, Dan, I hope you will carry back our gratitude, but I know the gratitude of the American people.
Yeah, normally with like other countries doing our drug testing, that's true.
When they see the incredible ingenuity and generosity of the
president, say of the president. Stop thanking Dan.
At Gilead. God bless you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Vice President. Appreciate it.
And God bless the president. Say that part.
And Adam, maybe you could say a few words. You were
About me, maybe? Throw in a little stuff.
instrumental in getting this done, and also on ventilators, getting us to be the kings and queens of ventilators. We have a lot of ventilators, and we're helping countries all over the world now with ventilators, from starting with almost none from the past. What do you have to say?
I think thematic.
Say something about ventilators, because we did a lot of those, and am I the queen of ventilators now? I think I am. Not so much. I just think when you see me, you take a deep breath, you know? It's understandable.
Flutter, 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 wink.
It shows the strength of the public-private partnerships that you've led, that you, the Vice President.
Mike likes to do a thing where he goes out in public and waves his privates. He has to do it in the middle of the night or Mother gets upset, but it's just a thing he does.
All of us have been working on.
Sometimes he puts a bag on his head and goes down to the subway. It's a long story.
You talked about ventilators. I know, Mr. Vice President, you just visited the GM plant. You were looking, you saw
Don't bring up the Mayo Clinic. Don't bring up the Mayo Clinic. Don't bring up the...
making ventilators, how quickly we moved.
How quickly you moved to wearing a mask.
There. Right. This is just another example where you have a company, one of our best, that came up with the first therapeutic that shows the strength of our private business. The other thing I know that you guys did, Dan, that I really appreciate, is you didn't wait to start production. Right. And that means we're going to get doses.
No, because they, as pharmaceutical companies, they're specifically sitting on money that the rest of the country isn't going to have. So there is no way pharmaceutical companies' stock has gone down during this time. They have more liquid and movable capital than any other industry during a pandemic.
Next week, because they ramped up.
Of course they're doing this. They can, because if they get ahead of it, it's worth the gamble. If it doesn't work, they can toss it in the garbage.
And didn't wait because they wanted to help Americans. So I think it shows the strength of our private business, and I'm very proud to be an American.
So that would mean that...
I'm proud to be an American. We're the tax envelope for Gilead.
What? You were so confident in what you were doing early on that you were able to project.
It was weird that you were so confident with remdesivir, you know, and I really thought hydroxychloroquine was the horse to back, so I bought into that one. So are you sure you don't want me running your stock portfolio? Because as I was picking winners and losers, I had the government buy 29 million doses of hydroxychloroquine, and all it did was either not help at all or kill people. And I ignored your company entirely and barely pronounced it's remdesivir.
I would love to say we were that confident. We really weren't, but we saw the incredible human need, and we said, in the event that this is successful, we have to plan for success, and that's just the way that.
Thank you, Doc. You ever serve time?
We operate. And I'm proud to work for a company that takes those type of decisions.
And how many doses are we getting from the standpoint of the country and the
1.5 million, but they're only going to the certain places.
So I mean, we're particularly with the news around the fact that some patients, as Dr. Hahn mentioned, can benefit from only...
Excuse me, it's Dr. Khan until I say it's Dr. Hahn again.
5 days of treatment, which I think is a real benefit, by the way, for patients to get 5 days of IV, and if they're improving, to get out of the hospital. Great for them to get back to their loved ones, great for reducing the burden on the healthcare system. And then that 1.5 million doses goes longer, right? So we're talking, you know, about hundreds, more than 100,000 treatment courses, which again, we need more. And we're still ramping up, and we're going to have more in the second half of the year.
A great start.
But at least it's a start, and the most severe, the most serious patients, I think, were the ones that we'll work with the Vice President and his team on to make sure that we get it to the most serious patients first.
That's a great start. Thank you very much, Dan.
Thank you very much.
Thank Gilead. Thank you very much.
Thank the company. Oh, Pence is clapping.
Thank you. That's fantastic. We'll be seeing you all in a little while. Thank you very much. Thank you.
They just run them out? Yeah, they just ran them out.
Much, and
so,
welcome to Dan O'Day.
Good God, what a jerk fest. So, let me see if I can open this back up to the, yeah, here. So this is the White House's website, right? There's lovely Bill Clay, and Trump. Let's see what his remarks on. This is what he just did before he headed out. Oh my God, the sound. Jesus, this is helpful.
So I'll be going to Camp David for a working weekend. We're going to be
A working weekend because everybody's working for the weekend.
spending a lot of
Everybody wants a little romance.
time with meetings and phone calls.
Hey, Moto.
Some foreign leaders. So we look forward to that, and we'll be back very soon. I guess we're doing something pretty big on Sunday night at the Lincoln Memorial. That'll be very nice. But we'll be back soon. And
We are? Why are you doing that? Are you doing a big crowd gathering at the Lincoln Memorial?
I think some of you will be traveling out around the area where I'm going. But we'll be at Camp David for a working weekend.
Thanks.
North Korean leader just surfaced at a fertilizer plant in North Korea. Do you know about this? Anything you can tell us? I'd rather not comment on it yet. Kim Jong-un will have something to say about it at the appropriate time.
I'd rather not say anything about it yet until they actually put him in the ground. Jesus Christ, that's loud and annoying. No wonder he likes asking questions.
I think he's doing a very good job. He's a great friend of mine. And the president is doing really well in Brazil. We're very proud of him.
How about the situation with the coronavirus in Brazil?
Well, they've been hit hard. Brazil's been hit very hard. But you have a president that's doing a very good job.
That woman's been asking Brazil questions for a week, and he just dusts them off.
Do you know that Kim is alive? Can you at least say that?
I don't want to talk about it now.
Mr. President,
Is Kim Jong-un alive? I don't want to talk about it. Jesus, that dude is so dead. Oh, God.
So we're going to see what happens. A lot of things are happening with respect to China. We're not happy, obviously, with what happened. This is a bad situation all
What's happening, Raj?
over the world, 182 countries. But we'll be having a lot to say about that. It's certainly an option. It's certainly an option, John.
Mr. President, are you going to be social distance?
Certainly an option.
Are you going to be social distance?
Certainly an option. We'll see what happens. We'll see if something might be happening.
Work weekend?
Yeah, I don't know. Can't Stop Lying. I've been wondering that too. Not a single picture of her and Barron together, or them separated from the president, or why they're not around, or, I mean, nothing.
I will.
That's it. He just gave 2 minutes and just walks off. But let's look. So the weirdest thing about the site is that, okay, so if you go to the website, the White House's website, or the YouTube page for the White House, it's pretty hilarious in that they have this guy.
Inflicted in
Here you go. Hold on. We should watch this one. Hold on. We'll open this. Oh, I don't want to open that full screen. That's insanity. Forget it.
enormous
Get
and
outta here.
painful toll on our nation's workers and small businesses. That's why last month I asked Congress to pass the Paycheck Protection Program, giving small businesses emergency
This music is so inspiring, isn't it?
economic relief to keep workers on the payroll.
So they've been see these events they've been doing recently with the PPP people coming up and the coffee shop folks and all that kind of stuff. Ivanka put this together with the other roundtable. This is all just this is just them printing ads where it looks like Trump invented the Paycheck Protection Program.
Program allowed me to keep those individuals employed.
The ability to have that peace of mind that keep them.
It's been a lifeline for us.
With the PPP, it has now given life to my family. It has injected hope.
Donald Trump, he brings people back to life.
In our business, and it's allowing us to fight the fight.
As a recipient of the PPP loan, we will continue to take up
This is Congress did this. Like, this is not his
charge and help everyone, especially people with.
Oh, it's definitely a great ploy, Templeton. It's just so transparent.
Disabilities pursue the American dream.
This program has given our small business the funds needed to operate and maintain
Well,
this crisis.
Mnuchin's in the back.
We're helping people.
Oh boy.
To shops, delis, healthcare workers, repair shops, construction companies. They're getting a lifeline through this program.
That we as small
This is like everybody getting their pose picture with him. Like, this is just an infomercial from that thing.
businesses are strong and we are resilient and we will bounce back.
We suffer with one heart, but we will prevail. We built the greatest economy anywhere in the world. We're going to
Notice, by the way, notice you guys were with me when they did this thing. The video of him is when he's talking forward. When he was doing those lines, he was reading off the paper with his finger. They cut video of him looking up so that you wouldn't see him reading.
But
Good
again,
God.
we're going to build it fast.
We're gonna build it fast, and that's his out. So they put these together, and if you look at the videos that they have in order, they recently started doing this thing. I find this so interesting, and I'll let you guys go because it's already 6:15, and I've been streaming for a day. This, by the way, this auto plays when you go to their site, which is god awful. But they have like their list of shots and all this kind of stuff. The third one that goes is the president's weekly address, and he hasn't done one in a year. He hasn't done one since June of last year. Yeah, exactly. 65,000 people are dead, and this is what they're posting on the thing. So, but if you go with the videos puts them up in order that they actually came in. They made all these folks who came and did these business roundtables basically do little promos for him. They gave everybody, look, 23 seconds. Tony Stafford of Ford's Fish Shack, it's 23 seconds. This dude. Allie Mills from Plum Contracting, 33 seconds. Like, it's kind of stunning. The West Virginia eye consultant, the Orangetown bank guy, and
The Paycheck Protection Program has helped so many people in our communities. Mechanics, delis, restaurants, pizza shop owners, construction workers. It's given people an opportunity to move on and keep the valuable employees paid and on their staff. Many of them are shut down right now because of the executive order in Pennsylvania, and they can't work. So it allows these small businesses to keep these valuable employees on the payroll. And
yeah, this isn't a White House problem or a solution.
when we open up back for business. I want to thank the president for all of his leadership in supporting the Paycheck Protection Program.
Like that,
The
isn't that
Paycheck
nuts?
Protection Program.
Look at that.
has
Hold
helped-
on, and then we'll go back. They literally are making these people parade out. Then they bring out Secretary Perdue, and he did 2 in a row at the same time. And I don't know if that was like, because one is Secretary Perdue, DPA and the supply chain, and the other one was President Trump loves farmers. Come on, buddy.
I think most everyone in agriculture understands.
Ahmed Asner for prostate
how much
health.
President Trump loves our farmers and producers. He's demonstrated that time after time. And the retaliatory tariffs, he came through with $12 billion and then $16 billion. And now with the
That's federal funds. Those didn't come from the tariffs.
COVID-19 issue.
That's taxes.
Where many people in agriculture are suffering. President Trump, again, has authorized us to use the resources available to help to mitigate
tax dollars.
The damages done by this virus in production, both in dairy and meat processing and meat.
To the big agribusiness companies. Meanwhile, forcing the workers to go back to work and keeping the big agribusiness production plants from protecting them from being liable in case any of those people get sick and die.
Production, proteins, as well as produce and other issues that way that we'll get direct payments out as quickly as possible, hopefully by the end of May. And we look forward to helping again to understand the needs of American agriculture. President Trump surely does.
That's like, literally, these are just little like, this is the one that Peter Navarro made.
Under President Trump's leadership, the United States of America is undergoing the fastest industrial mobilization since World War II. The Defense Production Act is a key part of that mobilization.
And all he does is look at it.
And what we're trying to do is make sure you at the front lines of this war against the virus have the medicines, medical supplies, and medical equipment you need to succeed.
As long as we don't have to use the DPA. What is that? What is that? Like, these are just little, like, ad chunks. And this, I guarantee, pieces of this shit are going to show up in campaign ads. Like, it's friggin' goofy. And then, but this is where they put these kind of things out. They don't, and these are the end of the task force briefings. You can trace it to 424, to the last task force briefing, and like, shit, we got to fill this whole website with stuff now. So that's why they're dragging people out to, basically these are there to push all these videos down. That's what that's for. They made all these stupid little videos, which are just to praise the president, or this is all filler to bury these, to bury the you could inject, and I was being sarcastic, but you could inject, it still works, right? That shit, like, it's stunning. So I'm curious what if I get in trouble for doing the Fox town hall that he does. You think I'll get in trouble if I go for that one? I think I probably will. I'm gonna guess. Yeah, they had to, Templeton's and Rat. That is all a strategy. That's what that is. Well, they can't delete them. Templeton's a rat. They're not supposed to. Yeah, I mean he's not even supposed to delete tweets. But this is all this bullshit is to cover all that stuff and push it down. That's what it's for. People do it all the time. And everybody, like, you watch somebody who, like, steps in it in a tweet, and they, what they'll do is just start doing random stuff. If you ever find yourself having done it, it's a great technique. If you ever have said something online, you're like, oops, that was a little over the line or something, just start at, what's your favorite song? I can't stop thinking about a Snickers bar. Like, all that stuff. You'll see a bunch of that crap, and it pushes everything down in the timeline. That's what this is for. Yes, Kofifi. That was arguably the same kind of thing. Once that happens, you just start doing a tweet storm and everybody's like, he's raging about something. Well, the raging isn't something you can get embarrassed about the same way Kofifi would be. They also realized someone always saves everything they delete, making them look even worse. This is true. Yeah, if they cut it, anything you cut out, people are going to see. They're going to take an extra look. Yeah. And that's right, Ameritary. That's what that is. That is what they're doing on their website. And they're going to keep doing that. It's all going to be potato salad for the next, week as they just try to do these little, glad-handing things and keep him talking as minimal as possible. That's why he uses his own account, not POTUS. Yeah, for his personal stuff, absolutely. The Kofifi thing was him just... how do you play Plinko on your show? Oh, if you donate or you super chat or you follow or subscribe, it'll put something it'll play pachinko, like that. Honestly, I didn't even know they had a YouTube channel. Well, the White House, they formed one, I think during the Obama administration. Each White House archives theirs, and it's the new White House's main one. But the White House itself has an ongoing one. They post national stuff there, so the presidential, if they do a weekly address, kind of like the radio addresses, they'll do that. That's right. Oh, by the way, I have 4 cameos to do today because of the Queer as Folk thing again, and the app wasn't working for a while, and it is now back to working. So if you want one, now's a good time to get one. So there you go. Yeah, and the last 20 I've done were all for charity, so they all went straight to charity. So that was a nice thing, but I think that period changed, and then they were shuffling the app or something, and it just didn't work. But now it kind of, yeah. But yes, Obama put, I think that was, it was during Obama's tenure that YouTube became a thing, Yeah, so anyways, I'm going to sign out. You guys are wonderful. I adore you. Thanks for hanging out. And thanks for all of you that made a visit to the Queer as Folk stream today. That was really nice to see you guys. I appreciate it. I want to thank all the the haters and trolls for the extra help you give me with the algorithm by hanging out and messaging during the show and watching it and rewatching parts of it. It pushes my numbers up, and I really appreciate you doing that for me. It's the hate watch numbers are real and they're valuable. So from the bottom left part of my right ventricle, 2 days a week, thank you. Thank you, Bad Wolf. And thank you, Robin. And thank you, Can't Stop Lying. Yes. And as always, right, Can't Stop Lying, let somebody know that you care about them. Reach out. Everybody's kind of struggling in this. And you know somebody, and you may not be aware, but you know somebody who's lonely right now and doesn't have somebody to reach out to. So, tap an acquaintance, digitally, tap an acquaintance on the shoulder and then go, hey, I've been thinking about you lately. I hope you're good, and hopefully, their response, hold on, I'm going to switch one thing for my sign off because I think it's only right. You guys, it's been such a good time, and I want to thank you. I'm, of course, in my prepper basement right now, and I just think you guys have been really special, and it's been a sweet, sweet thing to gather with you guys, and I look forward to tomorrow for the radio show when we get back together, and Johnny won't be with us tomorrow, which is very, very sad, but I'm working on having a special guest join me. So anyways, you guys have a fantastic night. And eat something healthy and take care of yourselves. I gotta do some crunches. I don't know about you, but cookies. So anyways, take care of yourself and take care of somebody else. Bye.